The following program is being brought to you on the Seventh Wave Network. For more information about our network and to check our additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit seventhwavenetwork.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Welcome to Empowering Your Soul with Lisa Ouellet. If you're ready to make personal changes in your life and the lives of those around you, get ready for an hour of encouragement, enlightened guests, and engaging stories. Now, here is your host, Lisa Ouellet.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Empowering Your Soul. I'm your host, Lisa Ouellet. Today, I have with me my friend and peer, Holly Sutherland of Today's New Dawn, LLC. She's a certified hypnotist and Reiki master teacher. She received her certification from the Thomas Institute of Hypnosis in Manchester, New Hampshire, and she's been studying hypnosis since 2007, and she's currently a member of the National Guild of Hypnotists. So I'd like to welcome you to my show today, Holly. Welcome.
Thanks, Lisa. Glad to be here.
Great. Thank you for coming. So I'd like to have people know a little bit about, I'm sure some people know what hypnosis is, but maybe not a lot of people know what Reiki is. So would you mind sharing a little bit about what Reiki is, Holly?
Yeah. Reiki is a Japanese technique for stress reduction and relaxation, and it also promotes healing. It's a non-invasive touch, light touch, although in some places, you're not allowed to touch unless you have a license.
So in New Hampshire, you can or cannot?
Yeah, in New Hampshire, luckily, you can do touch. I know there are some communities in Massachusetts that you can't, and you have to work above the body. But either way, it works perfectly fine.
Right.
People get results either way, whether it's a touch or above the body.
Okay. And what kinds of things do hypnosis and Reiki treat the same kind of symptoms?
Yeah, in a way they can. Hypnosis can help with stress reduction, and as well as Reiki. Reiki does the same thing. It can help in stress reduction. It can help in relaxation, like I just said.
Right. We could all use that.
I'm kind of repeating. But yeah, they kind of meld together. It's almost a meditative state, Reiki is.
Okay.
As well as when you do hypnosis, you're bringing them into that very relaxed state.
Okay.
So they kind of blend together.
Very nice, very nice. And you just said a meditative state. You also teach meditation, is that correct?
Yes, I do.
Nice. Okay. So if people were, and I believe you have CDs, is that correct?
Yeah, I have many different CDs for different meditations, yes.
So if people wanted to purchase one of those, they could get that directly from you or from your website?
Yeah, well, right now, if they email me, if there's a specific subject or reason that they want a certain meditation, they can reach me on my email.
Okay.
And
which
is holly@todaysnewdawn.com.
Perfect.
And I can actually tailor it for them.
Oh, personalize it to exactly what they need. Excellent. Yep. That's great. That's really good to know. I would also like to ask you if you would share with us how what you might have just answered this question, but how what you do empowers others. So how giving a Reiki session or treating somebody, in a hypnosis session, how that helps to empower them.
Well, Reiki, it helps them find balance within their body. Emotionally, mentally, and physically. It helps them to reach goals. So if they're looking to overcome something in their life, Reiki helps channel energy through their body.
Okay.
And if they have blocks that are holding them back, it helps break up those blocks. So once those blocks are released, then now they can move forward. So sometimes if they have emotional,
emotional,
sorry.
mental, emotional,
emotional. If they have something going on that's emotional that's been holding them back, Reiki can help them work through that.
Okay. So it helps with the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual as well? It could be a spiritual? Okay. Yeah. Excellent. So I know we talked a little bit before the show. We were going to talk about how you also facilitate Reiki shares and Reiki clinics. So you do both of those. Can you tell us I know, but can you tell the audience what the difference is between a Reiki share and a Reiki clinic?
Well, a Reiki clinic is when I have clients come in, some people who have never experienced Reiki, right, and I have them come in for a half-hour session. And I work on them on the table, and I work on both front and back. And they get to experience what Reiki is like. And it's for a really small cost. It's only $10 for a 30-minute session.
Wow, that's pretty reasonable. That's incredible.
And so. I usually book up really fast. I do this once a month.
Right.
For the clinic.
I know, and I know for a fact I used to help you for the last couple of years until my schedule didn't allow it anymore, but there used to be a lot of people coming to the clinics, and I know, not the clinics, I'm sorry, to the clinics. They're the clinics, I'm sorry, to the clinics. They used to come to that a lot, and that was always nice. So now you've tailored it a little differently, so now they're getting a one-on-one, so that's pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, and a Reiki share is what?
A Reiki share is when we get to play.
Okay.
When all the practitioners, whether you're a Reiki 1 level to a master, as I am and you are, it gives us a chance to work on each other and get that energy and give us that little boost that we need. We do work on our own, because you can give Reiki to yourself, which I recommend.
Self-treatment, everybody.
Self-treatment. Anybody who's attuned needs to do self-treatment. It gives us a chance to work on each other. And it gives those who have just started doing Reiki, it gives them the confidence.
Right.
Because they're working with others who have done it for years. So it's a nice experience for new people coming in.
So
to be able to work with
it's
us.
like a practice group of some sort,
with
right?
Benefits.
With benefits, right. So it's a giving and receiving, a little bit of, give and take share. That's
Exactly.
nice. That's why they call it a Reiki share.
There you go.
Now, you also are a Reiki master teacher, so you teach
Correct.
Reiki to other people. So this sounds like this is a great opportunity for somebody who's just recently taken one of your classes to come and practice, one-on-one with other people, like-minded people, right? Does that happen a lot?
Exactly. I do. When I do a class, I recommend it to my students,
right,
especially if they want to move up the ladder and get their other, Reiki 1, Reiki 2, and so forth. I do recommend that they do get practice in there, because it will help their confidence level.
Okay. And you teach your classes tell us where you teach your classes.
I teach my classes out of my office in Litchfield.
Okay, Litchfield, New Hampshire.
Yes. Yeah.
And you also teach, you teach all your classes at Litchfield, but sometimes you have sessions elsewhere?
Basically, my hypnosis sessions, I also do those at Bedford Body Care in Bedford, New Hampshire.
Okay. A mutual friend of ours, Deb, who will be...
Right. Yep. Most of my Reiki appointments and classes I do out of my office
Litchfield. Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so if you are local people and you want to come and have a Reiki session, or if you want to come and take a class, Holly is in Litchfield, New Hampshire. However, is this something that people could do over the telephone, or is this would probably be only in person?
Reiki, I pretty much do in person. They can, however, request distant healing.
Okay.
And Right. So that I can do. I don't have to be present with them to do that. But as far as taking the class, I only do that in person. Okay. So long distance healing might be done. If somebody's looking for a session, they could call you or get in touch with you at www.todaysnewdawn.com, Correct.
Your email, and ask for a long distance session. But if not, and you're local in New Hampshire, Holly's available for those sessions. Also, Holly and I, I'm gonna get to that in 1 second. I wanted to ask you a question too. You do, in your sessions, you do more than just Reiki, you utilize sound, is that correct?
I do. My husband and I, husband who's also, he's an advanced Reiki practitioner, we do Reiki sound sessions. And those are specific, if you want that, it's a different session than just a Reiki session.
Okay.
We incorporate sound, which would be tuning forks. We can use drums and rattles, ching-shaws.
Right.
Depending on what we feel guided to use. And we find that it helps, and our clients also find that it helps them tremendously.
Right.
Because Reiki works with vibration in your body. It's an energy form.
Very true.
And so do the drums and the tuning forks. They each have their own special vibration that works on different levels of your body to help release blocks in different areas.
This is very true. So a different sound might release a different block.
Right.
So in one session, you might even be getting a ting-sha and a drum and a rattle. You might get the encompassing of all of the sound together.
Right. Whatever we feel guided to.
Okay. And you were saying that Scott, your husband, does Reiki with you. Are other family members, do you have other family members that do Reiki with you, or?
No, basically, for out of the business, it's just my husband and I, although many of my family members are Reiki trained.
Or get Reiki on a regular basis from you. Okay, excellent. So Holly and I are also the founders of Greater Manchester Holistic Meetup Group, which is a holistic wellness spiritual group. Would you call it that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we put together some fairs a couple times a year for holistic and wellness fairs, where Holly will do Reiki at the fairs, and I think you've done hypnosis maybe once or twice before.
I've done that a few times there too.
Yep, and I usually do my readings, and then we have other members of our group come and for practice out of that.
Two of the other the founders we have. Deb Guimond.
Right, and Carissa Dorman, are also there at the fairs with us too. Do you want to share a little bit about the meetup group? So if people are interested in, looking us up online?
Yeah, the reason we started this group is we were getting clients that would come to us and they'd start talking and they would say, we have no one to talk to about this stuff. Right. We go out, we go to work, we keep our mouth shut because we're afraid of how people are going to look at us when we start talking about these things.
Those thoughts, right.
So we decided, as the four of us kind of got together and we decided, we should do something about that. And we just decided to, let's start a group. So
of like-minded
individuals. and it just kind of snowballed from there. What we do is we do the fair, like you said. We do that a few times a year, where we invite others to come in and do their particular modality.
What's nice about our fair, though, is that it's different than some. It's small, and it's personalized to one per modality?
Yeah, one practitioner or
one practitioner?
Yeah, per modality.
Okay.
And we have vendors come in to sell their wares.
Right.
The other thing that we do as this group is we offer, classes, and we offer get-togethers, just discussion groups.
Yep, and some of them are at no cost. So if you're local and you're looking to find out, be with like-minded individuals, you can feel free to contact either Holly or myself. Mm-hmm. Holly's website you have. Mine is lisawillette.com. You can email me or call me.
Or if you have a question, too, a spiritual question or anything about what I do or any of the members of the group, or you just have some type of a spiritual question, you're not quite sure where to get the answer, you can always message us on the
meetup?
on the meetup group on Facebook.
Yeah. So if you're interested in looking us up there, the meetup itself is, you'd go to www.meetup.com and then you'd search for Greater Manchester Holistic Meetup Group, and that's where you'll find us. And then you could join our group if you want. And Holly, we're also on Facebook, right?
Right.
And how do they find us on Facebook?
Just go on Facebook and look up Greater Manchester Holistic Meetup Group, and it should pop right up, and just like us on there, and you'll get any of our information that we post, and you feel free to send us messages, and we'll get back to you if you have a question.
Excellent. Great. So we are, this is pretty funny, but I wasn't sure, excuse me, before we were talking here prior to the show. We weren't really sure. We have so much to talk about, and we weren't sure we were going to get to it all. And I wasn't sure if Holly wasn't sure if she was going to have enough to say here, but do you want to tell them the story? About Scott? Not about what Scott was telling you? You were... No? Anytime Holly and I ever get on the phone, there's never a lack of conversation. Anytime we get on, we have nothing short of, long 2-hour conversations. But Holly was saying that she was telling Scott she was going to be on the show today, and he was telling her that, yeah.
Okay, it takes some nudging for me sometimes. Yeah, he was saying that, we wouldn't have a problem talking, because if I'm not talking, Lisa definitely is. So we're going back and forth all the time. We go out to eat. Yeah. And once I start talking about this that I like, he goes, "Don't worry." He says, you always have plenty to say.
Yeah.
Because after I've been working with the energy, it just ramps me up.
Right.
And I'm like, constantly.
So it wasn't an issue.
No.
Once she's in her talking about her passion, she's good to go. So we're actually going to come back from commercial break, and we're going to talk a little bit about hypnosis and some of the sessions that she does. We're going to hear about regular hypnosis sessions. We're going to hear about past life and future progressions. So stay tuned for the commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Now you don't have to stay linked to your desktop or laptop. Take Voice America on the go and listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
It has been foretold that this is a time of great change in the consciousness of the planet. What is the paradigm shift required to usher in a new reality? Join Avatars Peggy and David as they introduce a new and fresh living spirituality, which will stretch you and cause you to question everything you have learned on your spiritual journey. Tune in every Thursday at 12 noon Pacific Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America 7th Wave channel for The Avatars, ushering in a new beginning. And get ready for a provocative discussion that will challenge many of your most cherished spiritual beliefs.
Lisa Ouellet is honored to assist you as you move forward from imprisonment to empowerment. Individual intuitive sessions are available in person, by telephone, or via Skype. Visit www.lisaouellet.com. While there, you can also find information about 1-hour and half-hour Reiki sessions, life coaching, and tuning into your intuition classes. These classes will help you learn to trust your intuition and tune into yourself more easily. Mention that you heard about us on Empowering Your Soul and receive 10% off your next session. Visit lisaouellet.com today.
Get the news on our shows and other happenings by following us on Twitter. Find us at VoiceAmericaTRN or twitter.com/VoiceAmericaTRN.
You are listening to Empowering Your Soul. To reach Lisa Ouellet, you may send an email to lisaouellet@comcast.net. That's lisaouellet@comcast.net. Now, back to Empowering Your Soul.
Welcome back to Empowering Your Soul. If you're just tuning in now, I'm Lisa Ouellet, and I have with me today my guest, Holly Sutherland of Today's New Dawn. Holly's a hypnotist and a Reiki master teacher. And we were talking right before the break a little bit about what Reiki is. She was sharing with us about Reiki shares and clinics and things like that. We were going to talk about hypnosis right now, but I did want to ask her one thing before we get to that. I'd like, Holly, if you don't mind, welcome back, by the way.
Thank you.
And if you don't mind, I'd like you to share some stories of how some of your sessions have helped others. Some of the Reiki sessions that you've given to other people, how they've helped others. I'm sure without naming names, you can give us some stories, right?
Yeah, I can do that. Not a problem. The one that comes first to my mind is I had a client come in. Actually, she had come in for the clinic that we were doing.
Okay, that's right. Yep.
And you were there at that time. And she had been complaining that her neck hurt, and she couldn't move her neck, her head from side to side. She was in incredible pain. And she tried all kinds of things. She went to the chiropractor, she went to the doctor, physical therapy, and nothing seemed to be working for her, and it was really hampering her life. So she came with a friend.
Right.
And she says, well, I'll give it a try. You know, what do I got to lose? She got on the table, and we started working on her.
I was working on the friend. You were working on her.
I was working on her.
Yep.
Right. And that half hour went through, you know, I did all my hand placements and sent Reiki to wherever her body needed it. And well, when we finished the sessions, we usually discuss with the client what they experienced, and then we tell them what we experienced.
Right.
Well, when the session ended and it got to that point where she could explain what was going on, she was amazed that she wasn't feeling that pain. But I don't think it dawned on her at that point.
No, I think you're right.
I think it felt a little relief there. But on her way home, when she was driving with her friend, she actually turned her neck from side to side.
I know.
And she realized at that point that, oh my God, this really worked.
It's so incredible. I know. It's funny, too, because I know the friend you're talking about. I actually just met up with her about a month ago, and she was saying to me, she's saying, you know, how did we meet again? And, you know, I was thinking about how we met, and she was sharing with me the story about that night. And she said, I can't believe that night just changed my life. You know, basically, I felt so much relief in the car. I just couldn't even imagine how I moved my head back and forth. And from that point, from that evening, Holly, I'm sure you know this, but she also has decided that Reiki was something that she wanted to learn more about because of that experience that you gave her.
Right.
So since then, she's come to you for a class, and she now practices Reiki herself, right?
Yes, she does.
I know. It's kind of amazing how one session like that can change somebody's life.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And
it still amazes me after, you know, the time that I've been doing it. I know it works.
Right.
But you still have these incredible things that happen all the time, and it just kind of blows your socks off sometimes.
It does. I know. It's really nice when you can put your hands on somebody's forehead and help them get rid of a headache, or, you know, or just even Holly and I just went to a wedding together. A friend of ours got married over the weekend, and I was in so much pain from chasing my granddaughter around at a little playground thingy that I threw my back out at. That even just, you know, Holly was standing there for just maybe 5 minutes and just put her hands on my back, on my lower back. And God, I felt well enough to dance that night after that. So, you know, it's amazing what it can do.
Yeah.
So do you have is there anything else? Any other stories?
I do. Well, I have tons of stories.
Okay.
But I do have a personal story.
Okay.
My brother had cancer, and he had cancer in quite a few places, and they took a lot of things out of him. We won't go into that too much. But while he was in recovery, they had him on a morphine drip.
Okay.
His machine was not working.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And he kept buzzing for the nurse. They'd come in and they'd try to fix it, and it still wasn't working. And he was just in so much pain. And he looks at me and he goes, I can't stand this. And I said, well, I'm going to do Reiki on you. Is that okay? Because I usually ask permission before I do Reiki. And he goes, yeah. He says, I'll give anything a shot right now.
Right.
So I did put my hands on him. And I was probably on him for maybe 15, 20 minutes. One of the nurses comes in, and she turns right back around. She thought she was interrupting. And then I finished up. And as I'm doing it, his eyes close. And his breathing became a little more regular.
Right.
And this was the first time he had been able to relax. I went back and I sat down in my chair. The nurse came back in. She goes, were you doing that Reiki thing?
because it's practiced in hospitals now too. Yeah,
yes,
it's acceptable.
And I said, yeah. She says, I didn't want to interrupt you. I said, yeah, don't worry. You can walk in and out. It won't do anything. It doesn't stop the energy from working. So my brother actually got to sleep for a little while.
Nice.
And they were able to fix his machine after that. But when he finally did wake up, he goes, "Oh my God," he said, "thank you so much." He said, you can't believe how much that helped.
Right.
So for me, it was, just confirmation of how much this stuff works.
It's amazing. I know you're making me think. I didn't even think of it till just now. But when my daughter was having her first baby in the hospital, they were going to tell her that she was going to have a C-section because the baby wasn't going down into the right placement. And she allowed me to give her maybe an hour or so of Reiki, and just from that hour, my granddaughter went into the right placement so that she was able to give birth. So, it does help. It does really make a difference. So it's pretty empowering. So that's great. Those are, and actually, as I was checking my emails here when Holly was just talking, we had put out questions if anybody was interested. And we got a question from Michael in Tucson, Arizona. He writes in, "I have never experienced Reiki, but always wanted to. Is it anything like massage?" Well, that's a great question, Michael.
Well, first thing I got to say, keep your clothes on.
Yeah, definitely.
And Reiki, as I started to talk about when I first came on, it's a light touch or no touch at all.
Okay.
You don't manipulate anything. There's no pushing on the muscles or anything like that. So my hands are either upon you or right above you. And what you'll feel from my hands is either a vibration or a tingling. Most of the time people report heat, a lot of heat, like I got a heating pad on them.
I know, it feels good, yeah.
And it's wonderful. So in a way, the only way that it is similar to massage is that you're relaxed.
Okay.
Basically. And because you don't need to do Reiki on a Reiki table. You can do it standing up, sitting down, whatever.
Right.
You can perform Reiki anywhere, anyhow. So that's the only thing that it has in common, is that it's there to help you relax.
Yeah. Well, great. So thank you for that information. And Michael, thank you for listening into the show and for writing in that question. Hope you're a longtime listener. Okay, so we're gonna change topics here for a little bit, and we're gonna jump over to hypnosis. So Holly's gonna share with us. There's a lot of different kinds of hypnosis, right? I know we talked about you can be hypnotized to remember something in the present life, but there's also past life, and there's also future regressions. So what can you tell us? Do you want to tell us a little bit about hypnosis, or what it is for those that may not know?
Well, hypnosis is a state of relaxation. To put it easily, so everybody can understand. And what happens during that time is you allow your subconscious and your conscious mind just to relax. And what we do is, as you get into that point where you're so relaxed, almost like to the point of sleep, but not quite there, you allow suggestions or thoughts to be able to change the way your thinking pattern is. Okay. So it goes back into your subconscious, because your subconscious holds all your information that's ever happened to you in your entire life. It doesn't have emotion, but it has, I want to say, facts. It's like a computer. So it stores all this information. And what we do as hypnotists is we help go in there and we help change the way you think about something.
Okay.
So if it's a negative thought, we help you put it more into a positive perspective.
So if you're stuck in a pattern that you can't seem to move forward from, then that is what it'll help with? Okay.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Like, for instance, if, you're trying to quit smoking, and you say, I can't. The more you say, I can't, you're putting that thought in there.
Right.
So you're making that true.
Absolutely.
So with hypnosis is we try to help you change that thought pattern.
Okay.
So instead, I can, I am able, I am. So we put those type of thoughts.
A lot about positive
affirmations
and things like that.
Right.
Now, I don't know enough about hypnosis, but I'm sure that the rest of the world may want to know the same question too. I remember being in high school and they had a hypnotist come to the school, and they made some of the kids quack like ducks and everything. Can you be made to do something that you would never do? I mean, how strong is the power of suggestion? Like,
the the thing with the stage shows, they're very powerful. They do work.
Right.
They can make you cluck like a chicken. But one of the things...
But not if you weren't going to do that in real life, right?
If it's something that you choose not to do, you still have power of choice. Okay? The people who are doing it on stage already know that they want to do it. They already have that desire.
Right. Okay.
So when they go up there and do silly things, they volunteered to do it. So it is easier for them to take on those suggestions.
So not quite the same thing. All right. I was just curious about that a little bit. So we may have asked this question before, but can Reiki and hypnosis be done together? That's something that I'm wondering.
I personally don't do them together. I don't know if there is anybody who does them together.
Okay.
We have, as a matter of fact, you remember a few years back, we did a session that you did Reiki on a client, and then right after I did hypnosis on them.
Oh, yes. That was, yes. I do remember that.
And that was a beneficial session for them because they got both aspects of, a deep relaxation. It was, profound change in their life.
Okay. Well, that's good. So it's probably preferable to get it done. Well, obviously, it's preferable to get it done individually, and it probably just anchors in the reinforcement if you get both right after each other.
Right.
So it's just kind of a positive thing.
Right.
All right. So, Holly, would you share with us some examples of stories of maybe fears that have been overcome?
I have.
Do you have some good ones?
Yes,
okay.
My favorite.
Okay.
Without naming names.
Okay.
I did have this. This was during it was supposed to be a past life regression group session.
Okay.
I hold those, and what it is basically, it's a session that I allow a group of people to come in just to experience. It's not really to overcome anything.
Right.
It's just so they can experience what a past life feels like.
Well, I can speak from personal experience. I've been to many, many of these that she's facilitated, and they are amazing. So
thank you. But anyway, only two people came that night, which was meant to be.
Okay.
And they were both friends. And one of them, we did the regular past life like I normally do.
Okay.
We did a whole session. We had time left over because there was only two people, so it didn't take quite as long.
Right.
So one of the ladies that had come had a tremendous fear of spiders.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So, hello, that's me. It wasn't me, but that could have been me.
It was so bad she couldn't even say the word though.
Okay.
That's how
I'm not quite that bad.
But so when she talked about it, she either had to say bug or insect or something. She couldn't say the word spider. That her fear was so embedded. And she had been talking to me a few other times prior to coming to the past life. And every time she'd say, well, I think I'm going to come to you. I said, okay, whenever you're ready. Because you have to be ready to make change.
Absolutely.
So, I never pushed her, and it was just like, when you're ready. So that night, her friend goes, hey, while we're here, why don't you try to take care of that issue you have? So I looked at her, and she says, okay, I will. So I started to do a regression. And in the regression, I asked her to find that time and that period where this fear started. And she went back, and she went back further than this lifetime.
Oh, my.
She regressed back into another lifetime. And she ended up being a little boy of about 4 years old.
Okay.
He had a spider on him, and he was looking at it. And just looking at it, nothing else. And I said, is what's going on? She says, oh, nothing, I'm just looking. And so I moved her forward a little bit in that life to see what else happened. And the next thing you know, she's covered in spiders.
Oh, my God.
And
that's not enough to traumatize somebody.
and she was getting a little upset. So I moved her forward a little bit through the fear. And the next thing I know, I asked her what was happening. And she said, they're floating. And I said, who's floating? She said, the spiders. I said, okay, so where are you? And unfortunately, she said she drowned. I know it sounds really sad, but at the end of that particular time, I asked her, what message can you bring back to yourself today?
Okay.
And as the little boy, she said that it wasn't their fault.
Aww.
There's no need to fear.
I'm getting goosebump confirmation.
It was an accident. There's nothing wrong with the spiders, basically.
Right.
And so I asked her if there was someplace else that she needed to go to help sort out some more of this issue. And so we moved forward, and she actually went back to this lifetime. And she had some issues that had gone on in her life, and which I really won't get into a whole lot. So when I did finally bring her out, the first thing out of her mouth was spider. Spider, 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 spider. By the time she got home, her friend was so mad because all she did all the way home, which was a 45-minute ride, was say spider.
So that sounds like she had quite the empowering experience.
She did.
That's
She did.
awesome. Well, on that note, we're going to stop here for just a quick commercial break, and we'll be back shortly. And we're going to hear more about some other kinds of patterns that we might be helped move forward from. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Now you don't have to stay linked to your desktop or laptop. Take Voice America on the go and listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Lisa Ouellet is honored to assist you as you move forward from imprisonment to empowerment. Individual intuitive sessions are available in person, by telephone, or via Skype. Visit www.lisawillette.com. While there, you can also find information about 1 hour and half-hour Reiki sessions, life coaching, and tuning into your intuition classes. These classes will help you learn to trust your intuition and tune into yourself more easily. Mention that you heard about us on Empowering Your Soul and receive 10% off your next session. Visit lisawillette.com today.
It has been foretold that this is a time of great change in the consciousness of the planet. What is the paradigm shift required to usher in a new reality? Join Avatars Peggy and David as they introduce a new and fresh living spirituality, which will stretch you and cause you to question everything you have learned on your spiritual journey. Tune in every Thursday at 12 noon Pacific Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America 7th Wave Channel for The Avatars, ushering in a new beginning. And get ready for a provocative discussion that will challenge many of your most cherished spiritual beliefs.
Get the news on our shows and other happenings by following us on Twitter. Find us at VoiceAmericaTRN or twitter.com/VoiceAmericaTRN.
You are listening to Empowering Your Soul. To reach Lisa Ouellet, you may send an email to lisawillette@comcast.net. That's lisawillette@comcast.net. Now, back to Empowering Your Soul.
Thank you for returning to Empowering Your Soul. If you're just tuning in again, I am your host, Lisa Ouellet, and today I have with me Holly Sutherland of Today's New Dawn. She was just sharing with us a story about spiders. About how a person overcame this fear of them and really empowered herself to be able to say the word after not being able to. That's pretty amazing. I would like Holly, if you'd like Holly, to share with us some more stories that you might have about some other types of hypnosis. Maybe not. Do you have any other stories that are not past life? So maybe a present day story?
Yeah, I do. I have a. Actually, this was when I first started doing hypnosis. I had gone away for the weekend with a couple friends, and one of my friends had an issue with heights. So bad that there was no elevator in this hotel, so she had to take the stairs. We were on the 3rd floor, and she actually clinged to the wall as she climbed the stairs because she didn't want to be close to the edge. And we made it to the room. And she goes in there and she asked us to close the curtains because she didn't want to look out the window because we're on the 3rd floor.
Okay.
So she looks at me and she says, "Holly, is there anything that you can do for me?" I said, "Oh, like I said, I was a newbie at this." And I said, "I don't know. We'll give it a shot and we'll see what we can do." So she laid down on the bed, and I went through my, relaxation part of the session to allow her to get into that, peaceful state
of mind.
Yep. And then I told her that it was time now to find that spot in time that was causing her to have this fear of heights. So when I told her when she was ready to start telling me what was going on, so she did, and she started describing being a child, and she was at her aunt's house, and she had her cousin with her, and they were playing. They were little, and the next thing you know, they went out towards the stairs because they were up, in the upper level of the house. And the next thing she knows, her cousin fell down the stairs.
Oh, my.
Hit her head, and it was blood everywhere.
Oh, my.
And she's standing at the top of the stairs, kind of frozen, not knowing what to do.
And how old was she?
I think she was like 9 or 10.
Okay.
She was
little girl.
Yeah,
okay.
She was really young. And she just kind of froze and didn't
Understandably.
Yeah, she really didn't know what to do. So, we talked about it and discussed it a little bit. And then after we talked about it, I asked her if she needed to go someplace else or if there was another issue that she wanted to explore to help relieve this fear. And she says, no, that's enough for today.
Okay.
So I brought her back out, and we started talking about what she experienced.
Yep.
The first thing she was amazed at was how clearly she
remembered
everything, how, she saw it, and she felt like she was really there. And she said, you know what? I haven't even thought about that in years. She says, that had been so far down in my subconscious. She says, I wouldn't have thought that at all. Well, not that it cured her fear, but it helped lessen it. And,
of course.
And the proof that I got from that is she got up off the bed, and she goes, can you open the curtains? So my friend and I opened the curtains, and she walked over to the window.
Awesome.
And she looked down.
Oh, wow.
And she goes, oh my God. She says, this is incredible. So she did have a breakthrough that way, and it did help her a little bit coming down the stairs.
Right.
Not that she needed more done with it, but just for an example of just having that little thought brought back and remembering those things, bringing them back into focus and realizing that it's something that, doesn't really have to affect them anymore.
Exactly.
They can understand it now.
They have more control of the situation. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's basically taking control of your thoughts.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. So another empowering story.
Yeah.
She helped to empower her to not have that fear of heights anymore, right?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Or at least help lessen it.
Help lessen it, yeah. Well, and I know I won't go into great detail here, but I know I'll share with you a little bit of a story about how Holly helped me. I'm trying to remember how far back this was. I think it was sometime either last year or the year before. It was sometime in the fall, I remember. We were doing something, and I said, I think I'd like to have you help me try to move past a blockage, because I was blocked with moving forward at a certain point in my life. I was doing everything I could, and I just couldn't move past this one particular block, this fear that I had. So we decided to do a past life regression, and I'd done many before, but this one was so amazing to me. I guess and when Holly does them, when you do them, all right. So share with us when you do them. Do you go back to 1 life, 2 lives, 3 lives? How do you do it?
I basically, if I'm doing a group session, I do like 3 different lifetimes, if they choose to.
Right.
I mean,
you start them off with present life first.
No, we go. Oh yes, I'm sorry. I kind of do 2 sessions. The first one I do, especially for people who have never had hypnosis done at all. I just do a regular, everyday type of regression, which is bringing you back in your lifetime. Now it could be a day, a week, a year,
and usually to a happy moment, right?
Right, to a happy moment. It's always to a happy moment,
right?
And just so they can experience what hypnosis feels like. And it's just a short session. It's probably 20 minutes, maybe at the most. And then we discuss how they felt and what to expect. I always go on what to expect, but I always like to give them a little taste of it.
Right.
So that way, when they do go to do the past life regression, they're not fighting it. They're not saying, this isn't working, this isn't happening type of thing. They allow themselves to relax even more.
Right.
And it makes it easier to now go back into further past.
Now, do you find
their
that
life.
people will say to you that they're not sure that that's really, they're experiencing it for real, or it's just their imagination? Do you hear that a lot?
Oh, yeah, I hear that a lot. And I say go with it.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason why you're seeing, feeling, hearing, or experiencing these things. Can I definitely say it's true? Especially in past lives?
Right.
No, there's no proof. How can I say that?
Right.
But there's a reason for you experiencing
Even if your
this.
mind goes to that particular thought for whatever reason,
Right.
like if you think you were Amelia Earhart for some reason, in a particular lifetime, or a fighter pilot or whatever, or a ballet dancer, or whatever, there's a reason for that, right?
Right. There's always a message in there that you bring forward,
Right.
and so you can realize it in your present life.
Yeah.
And it's always a learning experience.
Right. Well, and so what you did with me that day is you regressed me back to, I think we had 3 different lives that we went to, and I just came across the notes the other day on it too, because at some point in the middle of it, you started taking notes for me because I was talking fast and you were writing down notes for me. I just came across that the other day, and I thought to myself, how funny, how far I've come in my journey, my spiritual journey, because I was kind of blocked on my journey, and it was all about me standing in my own power. When I realized, looking at the notes that I had taken, you regressed me to 3 different lives, and they were all completely different. I mean, I was a boy in one of them. I was a little boy in one of them. I was, one of them was like a Renaissance period, and the other one was just completely different. I don't remember what the third one was, but they were all so different. But yet the message from each one, when you look at it, was basically all the same. Right. It was moving past fear, and it was overcoming and not caring what other people thought. I think that was the message for me, in that, like, not, doing what I needed to do regardless of what other people thought. And I know for a fact that helped me to move past, whether it was my imagination or not, I know whatever, it's what I needed to hear. And, that was a couple years ago, and, I've come far in that process. So thank you for that, Holly.
You're welcome.
So, I know you probably don't do this a lot, future pregressions, but what would that entail?
Progression is basically going into the future. And again, it's reaching out there and getting information that can help you in your lifetime today. So I don't do a whole lot of progressions. And even when people are I tell them to choose where they're going.
Right.
Most of the time, it's either in this lifetime or the past. I haven't really had a whole lot of people going into the future.
Yep.
Because I like to think it's a mystery.
Right. Well, we're supposed to live in the present time anyway. But so, what would be some of the kind of things that you treat people for? Fears being overcome is one of them.
Right.
What other kind of things would you come for a hypnosis session for?
Losing weight.
Oh, perfect.
Smoking.
Yep.
Fear of speaking in
public speaking.
Public speaking.
That's a good one.
It's helped me myself.
Good. Right.
Just about anything, actually. It helps students.
Okay.
If they're having issues trying to learn or study, you can use hypnosis for that.
Okay.
To enhance your study. It can help in sports. It helps. There are athletes out there who go to hypnotists to help in their game.
Okay.
There's actually been presidents who've had hypnotists help them in their speaking.
So this goes back quite a ways.
Oh, yes. This goes back far.
Okay.
So hypnosis, stress reduction, like I said before, fears of different kinds.
So it sounds like it is pretty much the all-around go-to that you can get for, you named the big ones. There was weight loss, stopping smoking, some sort of addiction issues, overcoming fears and blockages. Those are, I would think those are probably the main big ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like you said, stress reduction and things like that. So, wow, that seems to encompass a whole area of what you can get done.
It's quite a bit.
It is quite a bit. And you do those out of your office in Litchfield, New Hampshire as well?
And as well as in Bedford.
Okay, at Bedford Body Care. Okay, excellent. And you are also the author of a blog. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah? And do you want to share with us a little bit about the blog?
Oh, it's just basically, every day I just put in a little thought, a little positive thought, and I leave it open for people to reply. It's just positive thinking that I'm putting out there.
Okay.
So,
and in the blog, I believe your blog website, if people are interested in that, is, do we have that? Or do you know off the top of your head what it is?
No, you can go straight to my website.
Okay.
And there's a button you can, type in.
Okay, so you could get it from todaysnewdawn.com.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Great. Well, that's good to know. It seems like there's a lot of different things that we've covered today. We've talked about a lot of it, stress reduction and relaxation and moving past fears and overcoming. So Reiki and hypnosis, quite powerful and quite empowering. Definitely things that we want to keep up with, and definitely things that we want to keep in our arsenal of how to move forward and help us become better people, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's nice with the group of people that we are associated with,
right?
Because we all do something different.
Exactly.
We are connected though through Reiki, which is
true.
really nice.
It is,
Most
actually.
of us have met each other because of some type of Reiki thing that
That's
we
true.
either
Reiki
went
events,
to
absolutely,
or whatever. And one of our good friends and co-associate is Deb Guimon, who does massage.
Yep.
And then Carissa, who is, a wonderful medium. Right. And
she's going to be my guest next week,
yeah, she's going to be your guest next weekend. She's awesome. They both are, actually. So just having people like you in my life to bounce ideas and thoughts
again,
off of
like-minded people.
That's just a great thing.
I feel the same. So thank you for saying that. That's going to lead me into my segue here, where I want to say again, like-minded people, you can meet us at Greater Manchester Holistic Meetup Group. Find us on Facebook. I am going to invite anybody that would like to write in and send me an email at lisawillette@comcast.net about this show. I'll forward it along to Holly, or if you have any questions about any of my shows, if you go onto the website, the Voice America webpage, and you see what's coming next, and you want to send questions about shows that are coming up, I'd love to have you send in questions. Pretty much every week people have been doing that. So I'm thanking you for listening, and I'm happy that people are tuning in to listen. Again, you can find information about me on my website at www.lisawillette.com. And I'm going to say thank you, Holly, for being my guest today.
Thank you for having
me. And we learned a lot about Reiki and empowerment and hypnosis and how it empowers people. Next week, I'm going to have with me as my special guest, medium Carissa Dorman. We're going to be talking about a whole slew of psychic and medium topics. We're going to be touching base on... she's going to share with us talking about the other side and both of us are going to be sharing some personal psychic and mediumship experiences that we've had. So thank you for tuning in this week. Have a great weekend, everybody, and stay tuned and come back next week.
Thank you for listening to Empowering Your Soul. Please be sure to join Lisa Ouellet for another engaging program next Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, noon Eastern Time on the Voice America 7th Wave channel. This week, stop feeling imprisoned and start being empowered.
Thanks again for listening to the preceding program, brought to you on the 7th Wave Network. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit 7thwavenetwork.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the preceding program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.